Nebraska Cornhusker after that. Well, next up we have Carly and Lucy, and they are our student body co-presidents. They've done a wonderful job all year, a couple of our student leaders. And the class of 2013, every year, senior class picks a faculty speaker. This year, the class of 2013 picked Mr. Sam Irving, and Lucy and Carly are going to come up and introduce our next speaker. Let's clap for their co-presidents.
A wise man at Englewood High School once said, "The squeaky wheel gets the grease."
This man taught us the value of pursuing our dreams and searching for a brighter horizon.
His contribution as a teacher has not only helped students, but the school as well.
He is a portrayal of what us as students should seek out to be.
His holding qualities of integrity, compassion, and humor brings out the best versions of us.
This role model has not only helped students with academics, but with the bigger picture of life that we as students would not have grasped without him.
Through his humor, he reaches out to students, and while in his classroom, his teaching styles are just the same.
From the raging monkeys chasing dogs on his PowerPoints to his self-portrait drawings on his front board, this man keeps a very entertaining viewpoint in his classrooms.
4 years ago, when we started our journey here, this man too was fresh on the scene.
He was an eager new teacher, yet looking back, I bet you he did not know how much impact he would have on the class of 2013's life.
From mullets to sing-alongs to conversations to connections, this man has guided us along the journey of high school.
So please join us in welcoming our teacher speaker, the one and the only,
Mr. Irving.
Thank you very much, Lucy and Carly, for that introduction. I'm especially grateful that in front of Superintendent Ewert and the school board and all the leaders of Englewood Public Schools that you mentioned mullets and raging monkeys. I really appreciate that. Well, I hope you don't mind, but I wrote out my speech. I'm used to having all of you as a captive audience forced to listen to me in order to pass my class. So I'm a little nervous speaking in front of a crowd here of their own free will. However, since you've all been forced to listen to me for so long, I'll keep this final speech brief. I want to share with you 3 small pieces of advice as you go out into the world. First, be free, and don't be afraid of that freedom. Second, write a book, and make it interesting. And finally, and I must stress, metaphorically speaking, start a fire. Set the world ablaze. First, class of 2013, be free. It sounds like an easy task, but it's far from it. Indeed, many people run from freedom, for freedom is responsibility. Freedom is owning up to your life choices, not blaming an outside authority for your decisions, but accepting that at the end of the day, you have to answer to yourself. And please, hold yourself accountable. Freedom is showing up on time, not out of fear of being marked tardy, but out of respect for yourself. Freedom is getting the job done, not so as to be rewarded with a gold star, but because you value your chosen line of work. Freedom is making your mark on the world. And by this, I don't mean carving Irving's name into one of my desks. Go big. Scrawl your name across the sky. Have the courage to explore your talents, for your talents are desperately needed right now. There are many challenges to be overcome. My generation didn't clean up after ourselves, and I'd be running to the hills right now if not for the faith I have in you to tap into your talents to set a course for sustainability. Prove me right. Owning one's freedom and responsibility is the mark of maturity. Indeed, it was no small task, but you've all earned it. Don't be afraid of the freedom that comes with adulthood. It can be scary. Responsibility is a scary thing. I'm sure many of your parents took one look at me 4 years ago and were petrified at the prospect of me being responsible for your education. And parents, I don't blame you for your fear. Luckily, I had help. From Mr. Ewert all the way down to myself and everyone in between, I can attest to not just the inspired instruction, but the compassion for every individual student that crosses the threshold of Inglewood High School. And for that, parents and graduates, let's show our love to these fine people who have let you all into their classrooms and hearts. Granted, I did take the occasional mullet-wigged, blue spandexed vacation from my educational responsibilities. But I didn't take that responsibility lightly, nor did any of my colleagues. We set the bar high, knowing you would rise, and you have done so, and will continue to rise. No doubt there will be obstacles obstructing your flight. There will be dark clouds of apathy, and storms of accepting the status quo. But walk across this stage as a plane prepped on the tarmac, cleared for takeoff. Know that you are prepared to weather these storms. Rise to your newfound responsibility. Have the courage to be creative, and tap into your talents for the benefit of all. Freedom is flying to the heights of your own skies. So 2013, be free. Second, write a book. I teach history because it's the greatest story ever told. It's a collectivity of moments and life choices that have brought us all to today. Few realize that their lifetimes are historically meaningful. You don't think about your legacy when you're skipping my class to get a Slurpee from 7-Eleven. And yet it is written, every moment. I've already read the introductions to your life novels, and so far you're off to a good start. One young man is off to engineer the future of renewable energy. A young woman with tenacity of spirit is off to put in the long hours and hard work necessary, making a go at it as a small business owner. Several young men with minds for machines will ensure that both on land and in air, we safely arrive at our destinations. Another young woman with the talent to capture the expanses of the human heart in a single photograph is off to make her dreams a reality. However, these stories are only in the initial chapters. The climax has yet to be written, and when it does, see to it that your book is an autobiography. Write your own story. Don't let others print your pages. Once you accept another's anthology of your life, you've written yourself off. Avoid the pages that others have written about you. These pages confine. These pages define. These pages partition avenues in your mind. Write your own story. And as you do, make it worth reading. Make no mistake, I'll be reading up on all your stories. And if the plot line drags, my red pen will come back to haunt you. If my job is telling the story of humanity, it needs to continue to be exciting. All your stories will combine to create my curriculum. Write a book, and please make it interesting. And finally, class of 2013, start a fire. Before me sits a sea of eyes, each pair illuminated by an internal spark, burning to be free, prepared to blaze a path of originality, excited to ignite their inspiration and set the world on fire. Don't neglect this youthful spark. Indeed, many sparks die out. The weight of the world can easily snuff out your burgeoning sun if you fail to nurture it. Those that create my history curriculum are a fire fed on their own flame, not burning out, but burning up into the ethos of eternity, as no doubt you will. The young man off to engineer the future of renewable energy realizes that my generation's fuel is burning out. We couldn't possibly feed your fire. Find your own source of inspiration. Don't accept the world you've been given. Have the courage to make ash of antiquated ideas in order to fertilize the fields for innovation. I know I am speaking for everyone behind me, everyone to the right of me, and everyone filling the stands when I say how utterly proud I am of the young men and women that you have become. But even deeper than this pride is a sense of excitement for that yet to be achieved. Each set of eyes in front of me is illuminated by a spark that everyone here, your families at home and at school, have helped to kindle. But we are no longer the keepers of this flame. It is up to each and every one of you now to rise, to feed the fires within, so as to make ash of every obstacle, so as to melt away any vestige of adolescent apathy, so as to be the light guiding all of us into the future that you will create. So, class of 2013, set the world ablaze. Thank you.
Sam, that was excellent. Just a couple reflections. Great speech. I know you wrote that on your own, and thank you for shaving your mullet off. Thank you. Next up, we're going